Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm back and I'm mad!
What's up, guys? Come on in.
Samantha?
I missed you, love.
Sam? Hey, Sam! Have you seen Samantha this morning? Have any of you guys seen Samantha?
It is being described simply as a mass hysteria in most animals.
What the hell just happened?
Attacks exploded around the world.
We're gonna find out where Samantha is, and I'm gonna go there. In the car!
Hello. Oh. Jerry isn't missing in action anymore, but for some odd reason, Skype's deciding not to show you. Great.
That's alright. Can you hear me? Can the people at home hear me? Fuck you, people at home.
I think they can hear you. At least the desktop audio seems to be working. Let's try this one again. Hold on a sec. Nope, he's not getting back. Why? Why?
Oh, there you go. They can hear me, so I'll teach them. Star Crash is amazing. You don't get to be Emperor of the Universe without learning a few tricks. Please halt the flow of time for 3 minutes.
So, I'm going to go to the technical difficulties and we do a recall. Hold on. Oh, God, because if I...
Oh, if you do that...
How did we do the last time? We restarted?
Oh.
Restart. Hold on a second. We'll be back in a jiffy. Sorry, guys. No Jerry for you today. Just audio.
None of you can see me giving you the fingers or with my hand down my pants.
No, it's actually Panzer. It's not the project system. I'm pretty sure this is all to blame on Skype or Microsoft on that matter. Because for some odd reason, it just decided to go bonkers.
Microsoft.
Yeah, whoever. Warren tried to help. That's a very high possibility.
Wow.
So, Jerry, what nice projects did you get us today?
Oh, I found a whole host of things. Where the fuck are you starting from? Is that your Facebook? What's that? What's going on there?
Now
so
he's
confused.
Now bloody OBS is taking the wrong browser.
Is it?
Yeah,
I quite like that
almost.
dwarf though. Is that
Oh God!
is that one of Jamie's dwarves?
Hold on a sec. How about that?
Yes, there we go. That's it. That's the one. Well done, son. Back to Bondo.
So...
There's Rumbly8. Hello, Rumbly8.
Hello, Rumbly8. Yeah. So, Wolfgang Amadeus Wolf. Very creative.
Yep. Nobody said They got paid the big bucks for coming up with clever names.
Indeed. There should be a golden button for clever naming, I feel.
Yeah, there should be. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to name them.
Oh.
But in some cases, anyway. So this is somebody diving into Code 1. We looked at the first faction like a month ago. Feels like a month ago. It's certainly been a while anyway.
Could be a year.
I can't be that long. Remember, it had the wrinkly cardboard, even though it wasn't wrinkly. Oh, by the way, if there are any United fans in the audience, 5-0.
I'm guessing that's some kind of weird football reference.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was amazing on Sunday. Oh, my God. I almost ended up calling the rape crisis line on myself. I was just masturbating so hard to it. It was fucking hilarious. It was amazing. Anyway, but yeah. So we've seen the Adriana. I think there is a couple of Adriana we hadn't seen, and then after that there's some train, and we get into the Nomads. So the other faction from Crimson Stone. So this is a Code 1 box, but everything in it can be used for real infinity. It was good. It was so good.
And it's quite cohesive, consistent paint scheme. Oh. Excuse me.
Tight. Yeah. Both within their own little sets, consistently painted. I was surprised they decided to do 2 different basing schemes, although I suppose it helps to identify people on the tabletop when they're doing bat reps and you're taking pictures from a distance.
Or from very much above.
I assume is going on here. Hi, Martin.
Which would be a very nice thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, why would you not? Why would you not? Where are you? You're starting at the top, are you, and working your way down?
Yes.
You crazy man. Crazy.
I'm following the way of gravity.
Outrageous. I should have spun these things round. But, yeah, Nomad paint scheme, very nice. A lot of edge highlighting involved.
Yeah, I was just about to say these turtle shelly shoulder pads look like he went on a very edge highlighty spree.
Especially, I mean, they are sculpted, so it helps. But then having to go in and still do all the upper highlighting shows a level of consistency and degree of care that I couldn't be fucked with.
Man of determination and skill.
Yep.
And here we have cardboard terrain is the word missing.
Correctamundo, mein Freund. So this is the new cardboard terrain. The old stuff was very thin and just sort of pre-glued, and you would fold it and stick a box in the middle of it. So it was still a bit light and airy-fairy and float away. This is more noticeably cardboard constructed because they've used thicker cardboard and they've used slots on it, so you have to assemble it. However, the cardboards all had a run over with some paint pens.
Yeah, acrylic paint pens, and just making sure the cuts don't stick out like sore thumbs, which seems to be an obvious choice, but I'm betting my right butt cheek that most people don't think of it. I wouldn't. Not at first. Ever since I've seen somebody do that, I'm thinking about it, but I wouldn't have thought of it for myself, I think. Most of the time.
Life is often too short to take an acrylic paint pen to the side of something. Oh, here we have our last 2 Adriana figures, one of the snipers.
Yeah, and
with a lovely poncho on.
Which it may be a bit short if that is some kind of camouflage.
Oh, that's about right for a camouflage poncho. You should know, you're German. The SS loved those. Fuck me, they were wearing them all the time. Couldn't get enough of them. And check your basement, you probably got one.
And did we win?
No, but that's only because you started a war with Russia, which, let's face it, it's fucking super retarded to a whole new level.
So,
as Londo Malari said, only an idiot fights a war on 2 fronts. Only the heir to the throne of the kingdom of idiots fights a war on 47 fronts. And that is more or less what going up against Russia was.
Yeah, what people at home didn't see is Jerry is having a nice beer. What kind of beer?
I'm sponsored by Guinness this evening.
Oh, I was just asking. I'm again going Kilkenny.
Well, you know, somebody has to.
Cheers, you lot out there.
Sláinte.
Crispin, Billion Suns with Tiny Ships is for noobs. We have seen your report on where you took your tiny fighting capital ship.
Better than that, I seen him posting in the Billion Suns.
I was just going to say that.
It was fucking great. Somebody's going, bit big, and you go, no, it's no scale, it's fine, go on ahead.
So somebody in Discord told him, go on the Facebook group and mention the scale.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Although there was one great reply to that, which is anytime he hears scale being mentioned for Billion Suns, he thinks about that bit from the Hitchhiker's Guide, where the Space Force picks up some unintended radio signals from Earth from another galaxy. They send a huge armada, but because they didn't realize the scale difference in planets, when it arrives, the ships are so small they actually get eaten by a dog. And it was like that. I'm going, that makes I mean, I would love to take my tiny, because I'm painting my Narn fleet up at the moment, which you can't see, but Pandancer can. But I'd love to take my tiny Narn fleet up against Crispin's fleet. just hovering around each other.
So Crispin would be setting his ship on one table and you would be flying crisscross.
I'd just be doing donuts around it. It'd be amazing.
Could be a hilarious battle report.
Oh yeah. Good times, good times.
So is this project then now finished with him having painted everything in the box? Or
No, because I imagine the whole purpose of painting everything in the box was so that they could then do battle reports. Tony Sylvie. Also, I think I've got his email somewhere, so I'll be suggesting that to him. But this is the start for Infinity for Tony. So ideally, start with the box, do some battle reports playing Code 1, see if you want to upgrade to N4, the big boys version with all the rules, and then start adding more stuff in, or just go, no, I'm going to stick with Code 1, and then just add in. You're limited what you can add for Code 1, that not everything is available, but, you know, a couple of tags in there to start popping people in the face would be good.
Crispin is mentioning the game has a weight limit. What game? It's not Billion Suns having a weight limit, does it?
I have a weight limit.
Oh, don't mention the belly.
Hunger strikes.
So after this nice intro on Infinity, what's the next project?
I thought we'd switch it up a bit and move away from Infinity and take a look at a board game.
Oh, so this is Hobby Exploits by Shingen.
This is Defiance, which is technically, it is actually Infinity. But, you know, in my defense, it's on a board. And as we know, that's different.
Well, that's the definition of a board game. It has a board.
Yep. So there's been a variety of little things, from heroic type of characters to tiny little bots and drones. And even one of those things that you kids do with your phones, where you make it look like it's something else, which would be ideal when you're doing your photo battle reports.
Oh, yes. Oh, he has done a lot of stuff.
He has. Yeah, this is what happens whenever I'm not about for a little while. August 3rd was the last time we were here looking at just regular stuff.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Joan of Arc and her military order scumbags. But it's just Soap Dodger's here to bask in all the Infinity goodness.
Is he? Is he not?
Yeah, no, he is. He's there. I really like and again, poncho. I really like the yellowy orange poncho on this lady.
Yeah, it looks a bit like an X dress used as a poncho now, judging by the color.
Well, maybe it's there to let people know she's coming. In the same way some animals are coloured brightly to ward off, warn other things that they are very deadly.
I'm very poisonous. You don't want to eat me. I like the details that are on the sculpt. I think I've never seen shoelaces being highlighted that predominantly.
That's Corvus Belly for you. They are remarkably good at what they do. Obviously, when everything becomes SEOcast, Soap will let us know whether or not they're still the same as what they used to be. Time will tell.
That was this new pseudo plastic injection mold thingy, wasn't it? Where you did...
Well, I wouldn't say it's pseudo plastic injection because it is exactly plastic injection molding.
Yeah, but they're using rubber molds and not metal stamp molds.
Yeah,
there was some difference.
They're using a silicon mold rather than a die-cast steel, but
which technically could lead to loss of detail because silicon is flexible.
It can do, but the plates press it together to stop that happening. It's an interesting thing. I think they may have talked about it in that video when John and Justin were over at UK Games Expo. But unlike metal, where you just spin the fucker up, wait for the metal to melt, and then chuck it in, job done, go home. Every mold should have its own temperature, pressure, and injection setting.
Yeah.
To get the best from it. And I don't think every company who's using it currently does that. I think some companies are just going 5 minutes on high. In the same way some people microwave things. Yes, you can read the instructions, or you can just put everything 5 minutes on high. We'll do it. Half an hour, 180 in the oven, bam, done. Doesn't matter what it says in the packaging, done. So,
yeah, I'm guessing that will show which company is using the tool they're getting to which extent. So some companies may use it to their benefit. Some other people may just use it as a means of cheap, fast production.
The oils are really striking there, Shingen. I suppose it's because they just have so much more pigment in them. I do like the look of them.
These things remind me of something, but I can't put my finger on it.
Crabs. We like crabs. Crabs.
No, not really.
Well, that one looks like the little tiny BB-8's friend robot. the hairdryer one with one wheel.
Yeah. I know which one you mean.
It probably has a name as well, and it's probably also kind of funny.
Reminds me of that I still need to get some Christmas present for my daughter, and she really likes BB-8 for some odd reason.
Wow. I only discovered, you probably know this already, I only discovered this recently, that when you flip the back of an oil tube, or presumably any artist's paint, you'll see a square on it, and it will either be a solid black square, a just outline square, or a square with a diagonal line. And one triangle is black and the other triangle is just empty, and that shows the transparency of the paint you're buying.
Oh,
so you can buy a yellow, and the yellow will either cover like nobody's business or will be very transparent, and the back of the tube lets you know. And I'm going, that was some advice I wish I'd known before I started spending a lot of money.
yeah, that's
on oil paints. Not that the oil paints I have, even the transparent ones, aren't still good for what they do. It's just there's a few paints I'm probably going to replace or buy different versions of those colors. He is super comic booky.
Yeah, this is high contrast. And taking this weird comic-y picture as well makes it even better. Sometimes I feel like I was a cartoon, not a real profile. Well, have I got some news for you, mister?
The conversion on the knight.
This one with the red and white cross on.
You can't just go straight to it. Show the individual components of that conversion.
Oh,
Because that just looks like an Infinity miniature, and we know they can make nice Infinity miniatures. They've been doing it for years.
so there's a lot of metal pieces.
Mm. That, kids, is how you do a conversion.
It seems an awful lot of sawing and
No, it's
cutting
not
pieces.
the right amount of sawing and cutting pieces. And then the next image shows the rebuilt with 3D printed pieces. And away you go.
I wonder why he replaced the sword.
Because the sword was in the hand and removed.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be much more easy to just replace the hilt?
Yeah, but then it's not in a scabbard.
Oh, okay.
You're walking around like some dirty peasant with a sword you've stolen from a nobleman stuffed into your belt. Outrageous.
Yeah, I love the Duke Nukem style sunglasses and the.
Well, so that's what people keep telling us. You can't convert metal models. I'm saying nothing. Actually, I say plenty about it. Fucking buy a sword. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the best I've seen, though. Hold the fucking phone a moment. The Heroes of Magic unboxing preview video thing for Artel's Kickstarter went out yesterday. And somebody in the comments said, why are you doing this? You just have 3D printers nowadays. Just print whatever you want. And I was like, excuse me?
To which I might reply, you entitled fuck.
Fuck off. Even if 3D printers exist, there's a whole spectrum of models that will never or probably aren't going to be 3D printable because you require a sculptor to then go and make a 3D file. And if they don't want to, they're not going to do it. It's the idea that miniatures should just fuck off now because we've got 3D printers. I hope he walks out in front of a bus.
I can't. Yes, 3D printing makes life easier for some people, but it's still way beyond anything practical.
It's not even from a practicality point of view. It's like saying, why do you fucks make models? Games Workshop exists.
Yeah, or why do you?
Why
do you buy miniatures from a third party and not Games Workshop? Can't you afford Games Workshop?
It's just fuck.
Don't paint, we have contrast. Don't buy models, we have 3D printing.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Don't play games, we have autoplay on video games.
I've no idea how the wanker wandered into that video to begin with. If that's his point of view, why the fuck's he even following OTT?
And just for this this one video, the idea that Artel is doing with the magnetized weapon arms that has been floating around, I think, in the heads of many hobbyists for eons, and now them coming out and say we keep all the work from you. You just need to assemble and paint, and then you have weapon options aplenty. I just love the concept, and I hope that the Kickstarter stays within reason.
I mean, all I've seen and all they've talked about are those models. So the 12 models. So I don't know if they're going to go over the top with it.
Yeah.
There's 20 odd heads.
Can you say if they
120 hands? So I don't know if they're going to go particularly buck nuts on them.
Can you say if these will just be these 4 sets they have previewed so far, or will there be different options?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's
they haven't told me anything because why would you? I'd just spill the beans on a show like this. This is probably why Stepchenko hasn't told me. I mean, the fact that all of the models are male. If I was a betting man, I would say if it goes well, they may do female versions then, because the hands wouldn't change.
Not very much, no.
Oh, not at all, really.
Unless they make the female versions slightly smaller.
Oh no, fuck that. Seriously, fuck that. Some of the hands are small enough as it is, and I have problems with some of the hands. Which I don't know. You might see it I think it's in the Devout. I have a few hands that don't quite. You can't get the magnet in, but then I've seen that they've left the magnet sticking out on some of their models. And I'm going, well, maybe they've just decided that it doesn't need to be completely hidden because you know you're going to be swapping hands. But anyway, regardless, they're small enough.
Yeah, and also you can, if you don't want magnets sticking out, you can always get your drill and make the hole a little deeper, I guess.
Not yet, but I'm hoping. I mean, you can't make the hole too deep. In fact, in some cases, trying to hide the magnet entirely, I went through the hand because there's not. You could use a smaller magnet.
Yeah, not in the
like
hand,
one by one.
but in the arms. You could deepen the hole in the arms.
No, I mean the arms is fine. You don't want to start sticking magnets from one side to the other like a pin. That would be too mental.
The next hobby accessory that's going to be released that's really going to catch my hype is if anybody invents paint that does tartan by itself.
Oh yeah, tartan. We're all there for tartan paint.
That will be the day where I really go, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I remember when the stone flecked spray paint came out from Plastic Coat, I want to say, and it was a 3-colored spray. So you would spray the can and you would get like a grey with flecks of green and something else in it. And that was weird coming out of one spray can. But, you know.
And I imagine if you shake that too hard, you'll just get some weird grey without any speckles.
Probably. Mate used it about I couldn't be arsed. I'm very lazy. Anyway, you're distracting me from the Tiny Fighting Men. You've already snuffed past a spinner there.
This one?
No. Blade Runner. The police cars, the flying cars, they're spinners. There you go. That's better. I do like a load of cars on my tabletop. And not just cars, little monopods and shit like that. It just looks great. Even my little pickle vans from MicroArts. They're all cool.
And, I like these color gradient on the windshields, making the solid look reflective glass. I wonder, is that... I'm guessing those are transfers on the side, on the roof.
Could be transfer, could be stencil. He's in the chat. He could tell us if he wanted us to know, but maybe he doesn't want us to know. Maybe he hates us.
Okay, keep your secrets.
I think that's a 3D print. That's just been kicking
I'd
around for a little while.
be hard pressed to say if it is. I
Transfers.
can't
There
see
you go.
any
He doesn't hate
lines.
us. Is it a 3D print?
I don't think so.
Resin, just a resin cast? Okay. That's just because the text that goes with it. 3D print from Antinosity. I do like. I bought so much Antinosity stuff, and a few years ago they were going to go under, and they were closing down everything. They were just going to do 3D prints only, and then thankfully they
Came to their senses.
I don't know if they came to their senses because what they sell now is very different from what they used to sell, which was more broad spectrum. But I'm glad to see that they're still going and their range is still available because they have some amazing. I backed a Kickstarter. It's actually it was the Kickstarter that almost sunk them when they were doing the resin and MDF buildings for the science fiction forward command post or forward base, something like that was the name of the Kickstarter. And it was all amazing stuff. I've still not put any of it together, mind you. But I see it's all on the website again, and it's and it actually looks better than the stuff I bought because they've changed the color to like a white, orange, and black, and it looks fucking amazing.
And speaking of Kickstarters, the current Fugu Kickstarter is interesting, though
Fugu!
I really can't see myself using them in any game short while. Also, import duties and
Yeah.
fuckery.
They're a really nice set of shacks for post-apocalyptic Dead
Yeah.
Zone or...
Is there a game for District 9?
There was /isn't/will be again, weirdly. But it was a board game that doesn't use any of that. So, however, with District 10 coming, that may get a revisit.
Yeah, but because that would be a game fitting, or maybe even for Judge Dredd in Wastelands.
Oh yeah, Dread would be fine, and for Fallout,
If
all of those.
they look almost too modern for Fallout, a bit. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just digressing again, but I can't because because I have my week off, same as Jerry. I can sleep in tomorrow.
Punk Apocalyptic had a Kickstarter on. It may actually still be on for another couple of days. They've got a redemptionist-looking religious warband of nutbags.
Punk Apocalyptic. No, I'm not trying to say that name.
Punk Apocalyptic.
I'm just trying to.
They do some beautiful stuff.
Looking
Beautiful
up.
stuff. I would, except I bought the last couple of Genesis books that I was missing this week, and then I backed Damnation.
There's the
because I want a copy of it.
The Irradiated faction currently running on Kickstarter. 5 days to go.
Yeah, I think they only did it as a 9-day run. They do very short. This is what we're doing. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, which is, I think, the most reasonable way to do things if you want to have your core audience chime in and have some...
there's two ways of looking at it. Some people or some companies who've done it, a few of them, they know they'll get the same amount of money if they run it over 9 days or a week as they would if they ran it for a month. So why put yourself through the stress and hassle?
Yeah, because there's those who back in the first 48 hours, and then the ones that back in the last 48 hours.
Exactly.
The days in between are almost
Pretty
always
much
dead.
Yeah. And then there's other people. So Chris, for example, doing his Gothic game, he's running it for essentially a month. But then he's a first-time guy, doesn't have anything else out there, doesn't have a massive fan base sitting waiting for it. So he'll probably need 2 weeks to generate some buzz and sound behind it.
That's very, very likely. So, shall we go on to the next project?
Yep.
Everybody's awake again. I hope.
Look, the Age of Invasions.
Is this the long-awaited, most delayed because of production problems book?
That's the one. Yep. This is only a very brief one, but obviously if you're a Saga fan, you should definitely get in there and follow Zoid Pinhead. And I'm not just doing it because it's Saga and Rourke's Drift stuck in the middle. He has unfortunately started rebasing stuff from delightful squares onto horrible rounds.
People, when will they learn?
But he's got a plan set out, which is he wants to do as many forces as he can for the Age of Invasions and Age of Vikings. So the list currently is Britons, late Romans, Picts, Scots / Irish, Welsh and Sassanids. The good thing about it is if you've got Irish, then they work for the Scotty in Age of Invasions, and to a lesser / greater extent you can also use them for Picts. Likewise, Britons and late Romans are pretty interchangeable. Sassanids, well, you know, that's the Persians for you. Can't do much with them. They're in and of themselves. And then a whole variety of Welsh goodness.
It definitely looks like he has his work cut out for him.
Heck, you know, it'll be easy enough. There's Rockstrift again. Aye, Rockstrift.
There's a bag of Welch, an Irish commander,
Yep.
warlord and standard bearer.
I mean, looking at that, it makes me want to actually finish painting something. I won't, though. I won't. Don't worry. Calm down.
Every time
Warhounds.
Every time I see somebody going ham on a project like this and just buying a huge bulk of stuff, I go, oh, I want to be able to do that too. And then my second thought is, no, I don't want to have a giant pile of unpainted minis piling on even more unpainted minis. This is enough pressure as it is.
No, it's no pressure. Don't worry about it.
No.
You'll be fine.
But by this rate, I'll be turning into a diamond by 2023.
Well, you know, Diamond Geezer. Is that what you're saying? Cockney.
I have no clue what you're talking about, so...
Chimney Mary Parvins. Anyway. But yeah.
So
if
everybody
people are
should be
interested-
following this project and taunting him.
If you're a Saga fan, definitely give it a look because, like I say, the plan is to cover multiple factions.
6 points of warbands for as many forces as he can.
It's a way to do it. It's also probably more reasonable than my 38-point Irish warband.
If I remember correctly, that means you're having way too many miniatures on the table.
You know, potato. I've got the same in Vikings. I need to balance the forces.
Speaking of balancing, you've already shown the next project.
Oh yeah.
This is
But
from.
don't worry, there's a delay.
I'm not going to. No, I'm not
Rumble
saying
8.
anything. I'm just
will.
going to look at pictures and.
Bot war. I could show you my bots, but they're all sitting in the next room.
Also,
So I can't.
I would be the only one seeing them, so I would just
Oh yeah.
close
Yeah.
my eyes.
Well, it's only for you. It's the only reason I'm doing it. But yeah, still on the aim to get a unit or a faction done for Slut, I believe, for the painting thing.
How far out is Salute?
19th of November, 3 weeks, maybe.
Well, and he should.
Or 19th may just be when we're going across. 20th, okay, there we go. So for like 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks, 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks.
Speaking of weeks, people in
13th,
the
really? Is it? Oh fuck, 3 weeks. What the fuck's happening on the 19th of November then?
for the ones in the audience and also being members of ontabletop.com, you may want to look into these Secret Santa Christmas thingamajig
It's your
thread.
birthday. Is that why I'm remembering it, Pete? Got this in front of you right now. Ooh. Wow.
Do I want to click on that link or do I want?
Oh yeah. Oh, always. Look at
Oh,
him.
you son of a
Look
bitch!
at this big punchy stick fist. I think Peachy is going to be doing the photography for Beasts again this year at Salute. So he'll be stocking all the cabinets for the painting competition, taking photos. So we expect to see that.
And battle reports.
Yeah. If you slip him 20 quid, he'll push a cabinet over if you think there's somebody in there with better stuff, mate.
Or just a blister from Baron's War. I heard you like Baron's War. Are you interested in these exclusive miniatures?
Do you like the look of those? I have the Deceivers and the Atlanticans to paint at the moment, so
If I weren't so greedy and...
you know. Sweden. Come to Sweden.
I hate you, Jerry.
What? I'll show you around the museums in Stockholm. Like a a vacation.
A vacation in museums. God, that sounds like
Fucking
being.
loved it.
That sounds like I'm old.
Fuck you. That's what I did whenever I went to Stockholm for the first time. I had a map with just like 74 museums listed on it. I just went to as many of the bastards as I could. It was great. When I went back, the Army Museum now has a bolt action stand in the gift shop. I wasn't fucking expecting to see that. I'd like to point out the Army Museum is hosted in a barracks of some description. So it's still an active part of the Swedish military. So you could be sitting in the restaurant or the canteen, you know, having a bit of schnitzel, enjoying yourself, looking out where they've got one of the, you know, the Striv armored vehicles at the front gates, and then there'll just be like a platoon of people marching or something drilling out front. And then you can go into the gift shop and pick yourself up some bolt action toys.
I think the closest thing to that I actually had was when I was in the military, and one of my mates on his in his little table sat there and painted Blood Bowl orcs and trolls.
Yeah, that works too. That was there. I mean, the last time I was there, they had somebody on top of the tank out front. I say tank, it's probably not technically a tank, so it's just an AFE. But they were up on top with, you know, Henry Hoover. You have Henry Hoovers. They're just little red compact vacuum cleaners.
Oh yes, those.
But they've got a face on them.
Yeah, the smiley faces.
On top of the vehicle with one of those hoovering the dirt off it to keep it clean. It's going, that's fucking amazing.
Hoovering a tank. It's a Hoover tank.
Yeah.
Games Workshop, make a Hoover tank.
So way ahead of you on that one. Way ahead of you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but a proper
some
tow. Make a decent Land Raider on tracks and put a Marine with the Hoover. What company did these? What's his face? The undead animated people with doing the cleaning and God help me.
Are you saying servitors?
Servitors, yes.
War Games exclusive.
Yeah,
did a range of servitors polishing, carrying buckets.
Yes, and
cleaning. Yes,
they need to do one with
that's
a Hoover.
One to get to. I'm just saying. And what's even more tragic is I worked out what you meant by that.
But the thing is, you understood what I meant, and this is even more concerning.
That is very concerning. Yeah. One with the
One with the Hoover.
Well, in that case, you would have to do it like Crichton from Red Dwarf, where the Hoover is a groinal attachment. So the hose just comes out from his groin, and he does the vacuuming that way. Oh, man. I think I've got their email somewhere.
I was thinking about the weird Hoover that's in Teletubbies.
Oh, yeah. The one that sucks all the hot jazz off their tubby tuster, whatever the fuck it's called.
Let's go on to the next project.
Yeah.
Before this gets any more weird.
We're now over a third of the way.
Roughly.
Tightly scripted.
Hutch is fumbling his way around the world of ancients.
Correctamundo. So this is another one where I probably should have span it round for you, because you're going to go backwards through time, but it doesn't really matter. We can live with it. The idea is getting stuck.
It doesn't seem to be a very long project, so
No. It's only started. Yeah, only started in first week in October. However, picked up
a lot of books.
Well, had the books, because there's no way he picked up Ancient Battles and Alexander's Race. Not unless he was willing to throw 3 figures at the fucking screen for those.
I beg your pardon?
No, they've been out of print for a long time. The last time I looked for Warhammer Ancient Battles supplements, they were rocking, £100 or more.
Oh, God.
I don't even have Alexander the Great. To be fair, I didn't really care about it at that stage. So, well, more for me. Anyway, looking for a couple of different rule sets and trying to work out how I was going to go. Then laid his hands on the bases and the miniatures and starting to break out a load of Macedonian phalangites in 15mm.
Decades.
Just
Lohoy.
like Mum used to. Is that a proper size? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16.
16 by 16, total of 20,
6,
200.
Oh no, it's 256 is right. Although that only shows 8 by 16, so that's not right. But anyway, 256 minimum size phalanx unit for the Macedonians.
That's a lot of people.
They were very adverse to people getting up close to them. They found 256 pokey sticks were the best ways to do it.
It's like carrying your hedge with you.
Yeah. Weirdly, they were called fighting hedgehogs.
I can't see why.
Yeah, you know. Well, not just them. Any fucker who got a load of pikes and poked forwards.
Would you look at that? So
It's good.
many pointy sticks.
I like how he does go, you know, I've been told you can use brush bristles, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use steel to draw blood. It's the way to do it.
You need to christen your miniatures at some point.
Blood for the blood god. They thirst. They thirst. Hi, Jim. So, once you've got
Jim.
all the miniatures on, it starts getting stuck into the painting. So you can see there if you scroll up a bit.
I'm guessing if shipping these pointy sticks is some kind of hazard for some delivery services.
It'd be fine. Well, once they're in an envelope, nobody cares.
Already.
It's all good. It's all fine.
Who my first? This is going to be a terrible night. Oh god. Chin chin.
Slodger. Or Prost. Prost.
Yeah, it's a long O. If you just go prost, it's almost like prostata.
Prostitute.
No, prostate. All the same region.
Why not both? So, before that, you'll see the colors that are being used. So a mixture of Citadel, Army Painter, and Contrast to get the little blighters done and dusted in double quick fashion. And when you see the phalanx put together, it does look adorable. I mean, it almost makes me want to paint something. I won't, of course, clearly, but you know.
At some point, we might do a little painting on screen again. It just looks very delightful.
Mm. Obviously, they all need the Macedonian star on those shields, so I look forward to hand painting those on. Joke. If he goes to Veni Vidi Vici transfers, he can get Macedonian stars in 15mm if he wants to put them on. I would. I think it would really make the unit pop.
Now this is a picture that I really like, especially because of the backdrop with all the magazines from War Games.
Yeah, it's a thing of beauty. It's enough to bring a tear to a grown man's eye.
Especially if he pokes himself with one of these.
See, Denzin gets it. Wow, indeed.
It does look stunning.
6.
Very
6
very
4s
cool
are
thing.
24. And then, what are we saying? 1, 2, 3.
I'd say 8.
So yeah, so they're wider than they should be because obviously he doesn't have the depth on the shelf, but that looks like that's the full 256. just fucking amazing. Oh, it's enough to make me go and privately toss one off. I could toss one off the cuff now. None of yous would know. Tim would, but none of yous would.
I've seen worse. But speaking of painting during a live stream, what's your take on miniature painters always having their face on screen all the time while painting.
Oh,
It's
I wouldn't, because I don't like the look of myself.
the thing
But-
is,
but
I get why.
I see a lot of streamers doing it, and I imagine it's because it's easier to make a connection. If you can go, that's who the person is. It's not just a voice, it's that.
Yeah, I can see that, but the thing is, if you look at anybody doing a video game stream, they usually sit upright and look directly in the camera, so you actually look at their faces. And people painting usually look down.
Head down, so you're looking
And
at the top of their head.
So either that, or you just have some weird angle on their faces, and it's just...
You're right. What they need to do is get a mask. I'll put the mask on top of their head, so every time they look down, there's like a clown smiley face.
that would work.
Yeah.
I only realized that a few days ago when I thought, why are people showing their upper skull while painting? Where's these? What sense is there?
It's an interesting thing. Anyway.
That's up for debate.
So there we have the Macedonian battle formation. So what else is coming in the future, including my most hated thing ever, Siloi.
Why is it your most hated?
I don't mind skirmishers, but the first time I came across Siloi was DBX players who just went on at length about stuff, so much so that it almost put me off Ancients, except it couldn't, because Ancients are fucking amazing. But every time I hear Siloi, I have like a anaphylactic reaction.
A little twitch in the eye.
Next time you're painting, Martin, get a clown mask for Halloween. Put it on top of your head, and then anytime you have to look down to paint, people will still be seeing a smiling face looking up at them. It won't be freaky at all.
Yeah, Mark, a well-placed camera could solve that, but most viewers don't have a well-placed camera for some odd reason, or at least in my opinion, but then again.
I don't have a well-placed camera. Then I don't do streamy things. Have you finished the Wild West Exodus set yet, Martin?
I think he has. At least
I
by
knew
the
one
looks of the
faction- I
pictures.
knew one faction was done. I haven't been looking at the other.
Yeah, he says yes.
I deliberately didn't pick you because I imagine over the next couple of weeks there'll be an awful lot of Wild West Exodus stuff just on things like the Weekender. So I seen yours and went, oh, good, and I went, oh, but we'll definitely be talking about it, almost undoubtedly so, next week in the Weekender. Anyway, so
So the weekend after the coming, because this week there sadly will be no weekend.
you say sadly, but look on the bright side, there will be no Kickstarters. There will be no 3D printing.
I'm sorry to say that
groups of people playing games.
I'm sorry to say, but there are different outlets still propagating Kickstarter things. So
So you say. I've almost finished building my Wild West Exodus stuff. I've got to start painting it probably this week.
Next project is Ninjalies fighting against the Dogs of Black, the tiny fighting dwarves, which we had a look at, and they are lovely.
They are amazing. It contains many butt things, and now a cat as well. I mean, what more do you want, kids? I obviously have to come back to this because 10mm fantasy and on proper square bases like nature intended. Pardon me. Oh my word. I'm full of all the hiccups.
But why?
Probably because I've been drinking since I finished doing my walk about 1 o'clock today. That would be my guess. Anyway.
So
right.
Pendragon obviously does a big range of
Pendragon just do a big range, full stop.
tiny fighting dwarves.
You don't even need to clarify it. They have a massive. If the answer or if the question is do
they have?
Do you know someone who does 10mm brackets, blank brackets, question mark, exclamation mark? The answer will always be Pendragon. So, do you know somebody who does 10mm fantasy? Pendragon. I really want to do 10mm Napoleonics. Pendragon. English Civil War. Pendragon. 30 Years War. Pendragon. Ancients, Pendragon. Pendragon. Micro armor, Pendragon.
Somebody out there is now actively trying to disprove you.
Feel free. Find something they don't do, and I guarantee you they'll fucking start it.
So you're saying I shouldn't be pestering Atomic Mass Games for Star Wars Legion?
Oh yeah, no, there's no point talking Atomic Mass Games. They can't string a fucking coherent sentence together. Whereas if you go Pendragon, have you thought about science fiction space opera styley in 10 mil?
I guess if it weren't for the damn licensing, they really could run with it.
Oh, almost entirely so. Almost entirely so. I really love the oh, I don't know if you can see it in this one. No, you can't really see it in this one. He must be in there somewhere though. There's horn blowers, and they've got like the massive Swiss alpine horns. And for a dwarf, I think that's perfect. It's like, how do you get the attention of other dwarves in the mountains with this
To blow a horn?
bastard thing? I assume they're all based up for War Master, because of the style of basing. But I would suggest fantastic battles.
It is a
Just,
enormous undertaking.
it's very, very small. I think Justin bought a full army of Pendragon dwarfs. It was like, 30 quid, here's an entire army in one blister pack at Salute in 2019. And I don't think they ever made it out of that blister pack, and then I think he gave them away.
Mm. So there's your horn blower.
Okay. Well, they're painted now. So if you're looking for, fantastic battles, you need to paint another set of something else to go with them. It's good. Oh, that could be it. Yeah, he may have given them to Warren. I definitely remember him saying he gave them to somebody after never even actually doing anything with them. But I love the look of mass ranks on square bases, full stop. Doesn't have to be dwarves, could be ancients.
And I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Around ECW when black powder starts ruining my warfare, but you can't have everything.
At some point, I think yesterday I've seen somebody trying to make pictures of their hobby progress and failing utterly because the cat was in the way all of the time.
Don't worry. That's obviously a better cat. One who knows. I have filmed a battle report with Nick from Irregular Wars. However, because this year, or this month rather, November, is the 3rd anniversary, and I got a wee message going, do you know when you're going to put it out? Because I told him at the time we filmed it, it was like, I'm just filming this with you because I really like the game, but I can't say exactly when we're going to be able to actually get it out on the site. And I got a message going, could it be the 3rd of November to hit the 3rd anniversary? And then I looked at everything that was due out on the 3rd of November, which, and I say this knowing that I don't have to edit anything, is fucking killing Justin at the moment. I was like, no. Oh no, you sweet sour child. No, it's not going to be out on the 3rd.
Only if you can supply and replacement Justin.
If you send somebody to edit it, that would be amazing. But yeah, hopefully before Christmas we'll get that that battle report out, because it was kind of funny, especially because by the end of it was a complete shit show. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean he went into me, and then I blinked units forward and couldn't get far enough, so I was butt to butt with him, and it just turned into a complete clusterfuck of an engagement in the middle with units charging into units that were backed onto each other and magic down. Oh, it was just amazing. It was good fun. But I really like the simplicity of the rule set coupled with the detail of the list building. You can literally build anything. You want to go dwarves, great. You want to go, my dwarves are militaristic, fantastic. You want to go, my dwarves are berserkers and lunatics, good. Go for your guns. It's all good. So
Yeah, so there's been very much still to To be seen, because these are all just the Pendragons, and I think I've seen some blisters unopened yet. The Heroes and Hordes from Callistra.
I've got to go back a page now. You're making me go back a page. You son of a bitch. On the blah blah blah.
Because there's some contraption that's still not on the table, I think. An Archers.
A large steamy tank looking affair. In fact, a pair of them. That'd be good.
So we can await funny things in future from this.
I will just say, if you do go Fantastic Battles, it has a set frontage. So it doesn't matter what your frontage is. But if you've got on things on 40s by 20s, then it would be a 40 square will be your base unit. So the stuff you've done, instead of being 3 ranks in a unit, you can just split those up more and turn them into 1.5 units, combine things that way. It mostly comes when you do those big war machines. If you just put them straight onto a single 40 by 40. Don't mind us, folks. You go about your own business. I'm just talking to Jill now. Just do it on a 40 by 40, and it means you've got 2 of those war machines separate. Also, is that American Civil War Confederate infantry?
I think it says. Yes, Confederate Infantry March.
Just zooming in.
Whatever that has.
I would be a little bit wary about putting them into the main line with the dwarves.
Maybe those are just casualties. Or more bases were needed.
Listen up, cheesy boy. I don't care. As long as you put the front edge of 40 mil wide and it can just go back after that. I don't know. Go nuts.
So, what's next up on our plate?
I don't know. Something by Doug. Because he's not here.
Doug the Fuck does Rain in Hell, the game by Uncle Adam.
That's the one. He has been, obviously, he's had a couple of days, therefore, may as well paint a whole faction for a game. I say that. We've seen this before. He was starting off working on it, using some GW and I think Frostgravy bits, if memory serves. So this is just adding more
and more
denizens of the underworld to his Rain and Hell factions. So this time around we've got some lesser Bissels, courtesy of Mantic, and a few more Beastman types. Because, cloven hooves and horns are always a good way of showing demonicness. And unfortunately he's also got the bag of melons. Minotaurs. Worst Minotaurs ever. It's the person that clearly heard of muscles, but didn't know how muscles or musculature worked on a
You mean this lovely fellow here? That looks like he's... This is one of these Russian bodybuilders that are injecting oil into their muscles.
That only goes so far. They must also be injecting oil into pockets of random skin, because they can't all be muscles. That doesn't work. Structurally, that doesn't work. Some people, like artists, will start with human form and work up from skeletons and study anatomy. Clearly, whoever did the Minotaurs for GW never did, because Jesus, they are the worst models I've seen from them. And the worst part is the old metal Minotaurs, I think may have been Trish sculpts, were excellent models. Beautiful. And then they went, let's replace them with these plastic things. They're going, could you not just make plastic versions of those metal ones? No, we've got to make these appalling things with too many bumps on them. It's like a fucking wholesale market of water balloons.
Yeah, it's it's something. But then again, we're talking about demons and potentially not existing entities. So
we're talking about them for the purposes of this because it's rain and hell. However, those are meant to be Minotaurs. Minotaurs. They're meant to be bullmen. So, yeah, you can't get around that by going, they're not physical creatures. They're a spectral manifestation. No, that fucker should be. and he can never put his hands down because look at those muscles. At no point will be able to move those hands.
Why would he want to put his hands down?
Well, occasionally you might want to punch something or scratch your ball sack. I don't know. Various reasons. However, none of those Minotaurs can do that. However, lest we forget, Doug has been working his red way through all his bestiality. I quite like the fact that he's gone for this reddish brown base on them and then has used like it looks like Flower Soft, but in a sort of black style. So you have this black grey foliage on the red bases, which, you know, is appropriate for hell. I'm sure he'll watch this back and be able to comment below so that you can find out in future. But I'll be interested to see if he's doing any specific table for Rain and Hell.
And currently he is only showing the miniatures one by one. I'd like to see how these look as a warband on the table set up to...
you know, I imagine we'll get that. He's done it for Frostgrave and Ghost Archipelago in the past when he was finished, but he paints one miniature or a handful of miniatures at a time and finishes them, which possibly explains why he gets finished. As opposed to just going, I'm going to put an entire warband in front of me and start doing all the skin. Now I'm bored, can't be arsed. God, now bye.
Oh, look, new shiny.
Exactly. He's a man of focus, commitment, and sheer fucking will. Doug is the John Wick miniature painting.
That needs to be another award besides the Golden Button, the John Wick Award of OTT for completing stuff.
Completing stuff. I'll talk to Tom when I go back.
Just take a look at the end of 2021 and see who has actually completed the most projects. And just slap him. Here's your pencil.
I once seen Doug the Fug do chipping and weathering with a pencil. A fucking pencil.
There's your outtake for the award ceremony.
Yep.
So, what's next in line? I feel like comic?
Like
Gorka Chaos.
Bert and Ernie. Oh, different comics. Yeah, we've not looked at Chaos Gorka's ever-increasing range of things in what seems like forever, which means he's done another 6 characters.
To a standard that I will personally never achieve because I'm too lazy.
Well, you know. Work on the principle you're probably taller than him. Anytime I feel bad, I work on the principle I'm more likely than not taller than whoever's done it. And it mostly holds me in good stead. Every now and again, some bastard will throw you a curveball by being fucking gigantic. But, you know, generally I'm fine.
I really like the extra steps you went through to make the red lining on the little suit from the raccoon.
Tiny rat. The trash panda.
But he's so cute!
It's a nice look. There's one thing you can say about him. Obviously, I'm not sure if this is for himself or if this is another commission one, because he tends to do a blend when he's putting the pictures up. Sometimes it's stuff that's commission work and sometimes it's going to be his own. But it's the consistency. Jesus, the consistency. I mean, it's outrageous just in and of itself. Look, there's the Green Goblin.
And two
Perfect
times,
for Halloween.
and they almost look identical by paint in the scheme of paint job. It's scary. MODOK.
When that's your living, you tend to start hitting these things. I will say the flames on both MODOK and the Green Goblin are particularly well done, and I will be stealing that in future because it's the sort of the light grey dry brushing on some of the bumps give you that
Smoky feeling.
smoke comic book feel, whereas up until now I've generally been going from flame into greys and then doing sort of a black on the bumps as you come further away. But I like that because that's brighter, it's a bit poppier, more Comic Sansy. Take it easy, Demon.
Yeah, it's actually looking really like in the comics and not like some artist's interpretation. Good night, Demon Sub. See you around the next time, I hope. And then there's Thor and Loki.
Yeah. Like I say, we've not visited Chaos in a little while, which means he's done an absolute boatload of stuff. I think the last time I was here with you
Did we see him do Vision
was
before?
July. We've seen other people do Vision. I don't think we've seen him do Vision. Although, like I say, it's possible either way.
Just look at this. Two exactly identical looking miniatures next to each other. The only main...
Work on the principle he's cut and pasted that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but then he did a horrible job on the base for cutting and pasting.
You know. If you want to cheer yourself up, find where the Winter Soldier lives, because there's a really bad mold line down one of the arcs. Sure, he can do magnificent paint jobs any day of the week, but he can't be arsed cleaning miniatures.
Miniatures, the savior of mental stability on any person not being able to paint.
Yep. You know, if you can't reach their level, then drag them back down to yours. That's what I always say.
And then beat them with experience.
Yep. Rider in the sky. Na, 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 na. Thanks, Mo. That'll be stuck in my head now. Somebody did something the other day, and I can't remember what it was, but by fuck, I could not get I couldn't get the thing out of my head. Oh, I know what it is. Somebody in the Genesis Discord is called Moonshiner, and there is a, I suppose, folk song or country western song, an Irish one, that my dad used to listen to all the fucking time, and I could not get that out of my head. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home, and if you don't like me, then leave me alone. And that was it. I'm just going, and that was, I seen the name, I seen them, they were just saying hello.
And the infinite loop begins again.
That was it. And that was it. Moonshiner was stuck in my head for the rest of the day.
So, speaking of picking at details, dragging him down, I actually found a valid point, I think.
Yes.
So here we have a very nicely painted
Oscorp petrol truck. Yep.
With lights and blinkers and all. Where the fucking hell are the lights on the rear end of this truck, mister?
Oh,
Where
no.
is the declaration of
hit the
harmful
hammer.
contents in the tank? Dear sir, can I see your papers, please? Would you please drive over there? Yes.
I don't think it's possible to ruin a country song, Jim, because they all start pre-ruined by virtue of the fact that they're country. We like both types of song here, country and western. But anyway, yeah. Chaos Gorka, just the consistency.
It's like he actually knows what he's doing. That's horrible.
I suppose when you hit that point, if anybody wants to amuse themselves, by the way, go to the Atomic Mass Games website and look at their version of Ghost Rider, which I'm pretty sure doesn't come close to that one that Chaos has painted. Look, there's Bouncy Moon not dancing.
Doc Ock and some more vehicles.
Some more vehicles, assuming flip paint on that first one.
Yeah, and this is where we ended the last time. So you were quite right with June.
Oh, there you go. I knew it was a J month. I couldn't remember if it was June or July. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's nice seeing another core set painted. It's always good to see inspiration, but I really liked it just for things like the Green Goblin and the Oscorp truck. Oh, you missed there's the scroll down 3. You'll see the big mold line on Winter Soldier's arm. Poor Bucky.
That one?
There you go. Look at it. Oh my Christ!
What a horrible shame.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's ruined it now. He can't be a commission painter anymore.
Please revoke your certificate.
Shall we move on?
Oh, hold on a sec. I need to press the buttons.
But the Prussians.
Under pressure, putting down me. Do you mean this looks better than the official painted miniature?
Yes. Unless they've replaced it, because I remember the one that we had on the article when they talked about doing Ghost Rider, and I was like, Jesus, did somebody let their child finger paint that?
Oh god, was it that horrible?
Yeah, pretty much. There was something really, really weird about it. I think it may have been the way they'd done the flames and the skull on it. It was just like, oh, please don't.
So I'm at the moment looking at whatever Atomic Mass Games has. Let's see, can I get this?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% right.
So, is this the one you're talking about?
Yep, that's the one.
Sadly, the picture can't be embiggened anymore because they choose to do a very small picture.
No. If you, I don't know where you are because we can't see your thing.
Which is a good thing.
If you go atomicmassgames.com/CP27.
That's where I linked that picture from. It doesn't...
Right. But on that page, it has Ghost Rider available now, character pack. You can scroll down, and then there's a white Ghost Rider picture. That can be full screened and rotated in 360.
So let me just grab this one.
Because that box front doesn't look as terrible as the actual paint job is.
Oh god.
So, Chaos Gork is knocking them out. I imagine like 7 or 8 a day. And gets those lovely smooth flames, presumably with an airbrush. And then whoever's done this one must have been told they've got half an hour. I don't care if the yellow looks green because you're putting it straight over black. Fucking get it done.
I just need to emphasize. I would be happy if I'd be able to paint to that standard, but this is light years away from this.
Yeah. There's really weird. Obviously, they've heard of. Chaos has gone very clean. There's no object source lighting on his. But the object source lighting, whoever's done the official version with, they don't understand how light works. They've just highlighted random bits yellow. And you go, well, if his flames are highlighting, then you need to either do it all or do none of it. Don't pick this half-assed. I'm going to highlight some of his back and some of his arm, but not the rest of his arm or the bike or his pants or any of that shit. Fucking pick one. I'm just now spinning around being offended by it. Anyway.
So speaking of highlights, yesterday I skimmed through the latest video from Wapple Painting.
Yes.
Painting a dwarven forge with oils. It's after 10 minutes, he was at a state where he said, "Oh, this is a fine-looking model. What's coming the next 2 hours?" And then he's starting to add details and oh god.
Yeah, that's professional painters for you. They're just the worst.
Horrible people.
What can I say? Anyway.
Next then is Harry711 doing bolt action.
Yeah, doing the Pacific Theatre. So specifically going to concentrate on Marines and Imperial Japanese.
And they brought their own hands.
Yeah.
It was a Flammenwerfer doing Flammenwerfing. Oh, robot.
all of that. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
do these Japanese soldiers have a shopping bag?
Canvas tote bag with the Eye of Sauron on it. Clearly, they've all just been to New Zealand.
Shopping spree in New Zealand.
I don't know enough about the Pacific Theatre to know if they went the whole hog like that. The IGA force, the Imperial Japanese Army Force for Bold Action, is one of the skewiest lists that you can form in Bold Action. While theoretically, you can just do a boots on the ground, what they had force, they do include a lot of weird stuff that aren't capped. So you do tend to see a lot of the more esoteric things like mines on the end of bamboo sticks. And those units are utterly atrocious and shouldn't be fielded anyway. Never mind the fact that people tend to field far more than probably were active in the entire war. But you can't have everything.
Yeah, there's some.
Oh, I don't have it.
It's just like playing tanks with somebody and they're fielding tigers all the day.
Yeah, that type of thing. There's an old joke that there's more Pumas in wargaming collections than were ever actually manufactured.
Which probably isn't far from the truth.
No, well, certainly, but they appear far more than they should. But I like the fact that we're seeing more Pacific War. There's a few people who've been working on various Pacific War projects on the site of late, so it's quite nice seeing them.
Hadn't he included this picture of what looks to be like an actual Japanese soldier of the time with a flag on his rifle? I would be hard pressed to believe that actually was a thing.
But in a Iwo Jima style, did he use it in combat? Were they running around with it, or was it posed? I know that obviously when the Marines raised the flag, they did that, but then all the pictures we see later on is a manufactured version with a much larger flag and all the rest of it. So I don't know, maybe.
It's I wouldn't put it past the Japanese having waving around the flags, storming in the final assault or something.
I mean, out of all of the nations that were combatants in the Second World War, the Japanese were one of the most alien, I think is probably the easiest way to say it. They
unconventional.
No, specifically alien. I mean, from a conventionality point of view, they had conventional weapons, fleets, and tactics. Armor, not so much. But unlike the military powers in Europe, they were sitting with essentially still a god emperor on the throne, and with that level of fanaticism that even the most dyed-in-the-wool Nazi couldn't match. So it's entirely possible there were whole regiments or platoons that had the flags on them in the same way the kamikaze pilots, bandanaed up and went on the side of things. It's just such a different mindset for the Japanese military compared to all the other militaries that fought. They were still living in for all intents and purposes, a different century.
Yeah, I guess I'm getting where you're going with this. And speaking of kamikazes, you probably have seen this one picture where you can see the outlines of a plane on the side of the ship and only a small dent. Imagine throwing your life away just to leave a splat.
Yeah, I mean, and that was it. Obviously, there were times where various soldiers and personnel from various militaries, whether it was Allied, Axis, or whatever, they stood to the last and they died for whatever reason. They've been told to hold or they've been told to advance, and they went there. But the Japanese mindset was just so different from any of the other. It's why you end up with, you know, tales of Japanese fighters on islands 50 years later, still hiding there. You know, could you imagine? I mean, the last German surrendered or stopped fighting in the 50s. Imagine keeping it going for another 40 odd years.
No, I already can't. Especially not in today's world, because most would, after half a year, would do, we didn't get any new orders. I think things are fine now. We could stop watching.
Yeah, well,
we all go home.
And in that case, it was the werewolf battalions for the Germans, who were essentially just sent into Czechoslovakia in that neck of the woods and told, we're all going to keep fighting a guerrilla war. And they were all young lads, and once they were out there, they had no contact and didn't realise that the war was over, because
everybody you fought for is dead.
Yeah. So yeah, strange stuff. But Pacific, I think the Pacific needs, I mean, Jim's there. I assume the Pacific conflict is more prevalent in America in gaming clubs and communities than we see it here. But it is one of those things that even culturally, when you look at TV and film, you don't really see it given the same weight that the conflict in Europe is given. And to a similar extent, the Italy and North Africa campaigns never really seem to get much either. You know, if it doesn't happen in and around Central Europe, nobody really cares. So it's nice to see people focusing on the Pacific for once.
Yeah, it's I'm guessing it's also a thing that in Europe most people really didn't care about what happened in the Asian Pacific, because we had enough on our hands.
Yeah, no, but I mean, even after the fact, obviously there were Commonwealth and British fighters in Burma and the like, so there's a little bit for that. But even then, rarely do you hear much about what happened with the campaigns in Asia from a British and Commonwealth point of view. I mean, Bridge over the River Kwai is notable as probably one of the only films about it, mainstream film. You know, it's just ignored. That half of the planet, you know, fuck only cares what happened over there. Strange.
I think that would be an interesting discussion topic for a different podcast.
Hey, you know, you're doing one on Wednesday, aren't you?
No, that's just mumbling along and
okay.
potentially painting something and maybe drinking a beer or two or three. So let's see what happens when Panzer and I tomorrow go on the OTT Discord and just spill stuff.
Spill stuff all down your face, neck, and chests. Shall we?
Yes.
Speaking of face, necks, and chests.
And interesting pictures. So we did talk about this earlier today.
Yeah, we did. But, you know, now we're here properly.
So, when I first looked at this project, I actually missed one of the more interesting and funny things about.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because I didn't. I'm assuming it's the transporting orc.
Yes, I missed him. I didn't
totally. Realize he was transporting, but when I first seen the pictures that Crispin had posted, I immediately went, "That's one sparkly fucking orc." At which point Crispin goes, "He's being teleported, and that's why he's sparkly like Star Trek." And I'm going, "Oh, it's fucking amazing!"
Yeah, just look at this. First,
you can almost hear the noise.
Having orcs man a enterprise of some
enterprise. Why the fuck would you not?
And then having one being transported off the planet. And actually, this one in the upper with the red shirt resembles Scotty to a degree.
How many fingers has he got?
Well, he's been hunching himself over his weird control panel.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted by
football.
No, two ladies in bikinis with AKs. That's the problem with Crispin's thing. Obviously, there are a lot of really nice miniatures in there, but then he keeps throwing in random bits of fluffery to keep me distracted.
There they are again. I like the attention to detail with the yellow shirts being on the bridge.
Yeah, well, command.
It's hilarious.
And I'm fairly certain, I could be wrong, I'm fairly certain that's a Tau piece of terrain that makes the saucer section.
Yeah,
which is
it looks
fucking
hauntingly familiar.
genius. Yeah, the Tau terrain, yeah.
Oh, and see, there's already the transporting going on down below. There's sparkly bits on the base as well.
Sparkle, sparkle. Where's Spork? That's a very good question.
Spork.
So while we're looking at this, obviously, and waiting for the battle report, if people haven't been in the best house, they haven't been seeing a lot of the work in progress. It's purple. Yeah.
And this is the other project of his.
Yeah. That's your standard flying section with the massive hull slapped on the bottom. The huge rocket with hello cats on it obviously is a thing of beauty. But I don't think we've ever got round to actually discussing what the game was. Was it pure Warzone? Was it a hodgepodge? How much of the ship's combat was there, or was it just like a delivery system and people were moving from places to places? Because I'm fascinated by the time and effort that's went into this as to what the actual gameplay was. Well, obviously, we all hope it was like a billion sounds. I would so love to. Once again, I would say I would love to play with my tiny inch-long Narn fleet around one of these big ones, but have all of my ships being like capital ships, and then the huge fuck-off ship being a fighter, just to really piss off the scale fuckwits.
And I love that the orcish-looking fighter also resembled something of a Klingon cruiser.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean the work from the orcs was fantastic. The HMS Wheatstraw, with its two massive generators and bank of naval guns and huge missile at the front. I mean, it's fucking amazing. So it was a 40k apocalypse game. Okay, so the ships themselves had rules, plus then people were using fighters and squadrons running across decks and stuff as well. It's just, this is what I like about gaming clubs and why I'm very, very bitter that they don't really exist here anymore. We've all been eaten.
Why don't they exist anymore in England? I always thought they were a thing in England, or is it just Ireland that doesn't have them?
Could be a thing in England. There's a sea between us and them. No, we've never really. I mean, a few people have tried to launch gaming clubs, but if they're not tied to something, you're kind of fucked. So Queens had a gaming club for a long time, and then the Nine-Tailed Cat people arrived and fucking squeezed us all out so they could prance around like twats playing Pikachu and fucking Nintendos. So bam went that for anybody actually getting a game. There was a couple of times where people had started clubs that were unconnected to shops, and they kind of died on their arse after a while. They had sort of a good run, but we don't really. And it's kind of annoying because obviously you've got two types in America. You've got an awful lot of friendly local game stores, which again we don't really have here because the rates and rents for stores is fucking astronomical in the UK. So you can't have a boatload of tables in an area because it just it's cost prohibitive. So you generally ended up with them clubs being the big thing, and clubs just seem to have kind of died out, mostly because of cunts.
Hello, cunts.
Yeah. It's a terrible, terrible shame.
Yeah, it's similar here because there
Yeah,
are a lot
James,
of
it was on one of the other pictures, I think.
there are a lot of stores selling stuff, but usually you only have 1 or 2 tables at the maximum available for playing.
I think there's a new club, a new store opening in Belfast. Steve was saying, I'll be tempted to go down to see what that's like. But even if you go into Games Workshop, ladies, if you go into Games Workshop, apart from the fact you can only play GW games, they removed the big tables, so you can't play a regular game, and replaced them with small intro tables where you're only looking at maybe a 2 or 3 foot square. So you're never going to be able to put down a full army on them, because they don't want you in there playing games, because then you're not spending money.
No, they want
just taking up space.
Yeah.
But they want to be able to demo the games to new people. And the whole idea is get people in, demo it, get them in the hobby, and then shuffle them off to a local games club. But those you can count them on the fingers of one hand in Ireland. Better in England.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you're trying to rent a place, you need to find something that is spacey enough where you have actually possibility of leaving your stuff overnight without fearing somebody nicks it.
Oh, yeah, that's never happening.
And then you have to have a reliable group of people putting something in the pot to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how that works in England or Ireland, but in Germany, somebody has to put his signature under the rent contract, and that person is being held accountable for everything.
I mean, also in Nerd Nern, you have another added benefit, which is where you set up. Because if you set up in one place, then people will go, it's a Catholic area, I'm not going there. And if you set up another place, they'll go, it's a Protestant area, I'm not going there. So if you want to set up in a place that isn't perceived as Catholic or Protestant, because you don't want to alienate people, then you end up having to try and set up in town or city centres where the cost is much higher.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. I miss the old days when we just blew each other up. It kept the costs way, way down, because nobody wanted to raise the rents because they didn't want their fucking building to explode.
Shall we go on?
Yeah, that's
Horatio, the nose-blowing kind. He's doing weird stuff, which isn't really a miniature.
A tray. He's making a tray so he can carry soup into the kitchen.
So last time we were, he started painting his camels and monster thingies.
He had started working on his camelry, yes. So this was Saga Age of Magic based. So he'd already started doing some camelry, infantry and the like. And to that, a genie and a massive monster, a Scorponok there, have been added. But as he started getting it all together, there was a whole sort of, how am I going to move and store this shit? And to that end, he broke out the materials and the power tools.
The big power tools. Let's not understate that.
Everybody's got one of those in their cupboard, have they not? No. All got a angly, grindery, metally thing.
Yeah, so what he basically done he took some wood and a large sheet of metal.
Sheet metal, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then somehow bend it around the wood.
It's
Sparks.
Look at the pretty. I like the pretty lights. There's a cage behind him as well. Yeah, so Mick Foley is in there.
So he's adding metal plates to wooden bases just to have something sturdy to put into his box.
Yep. Also magnetic. So if the bases are magnetized, then it will all be securely fastened to the bottom.
I'm wondering if with the wood and the metal sheeting, if this is going to be maybe a bit heavy for the box in the long run.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Let's hope he does not break his back or something trying to lift this.
No, Grant. It's not like he's filling it to the top with nothing but lead miniatures. It's just
could
a
be.
bunch of stuff, and then you reach in, take the handles, and you just lift out your tray. And if you're at a tournament or something, then you've got your tray to carry your miniatures around in. It's very clever.
And also, if you lift heavy things, people remember with your knees, not your back. Do the.
I think you're wrong, because I remember Peter Griffin explaining that you should lift everything by keeping your legs as straight as possible and then doing a twisting, jerking motion with your back as you stand up.
Advice from a comic book character is
Yeah.
probably the best way to go.
I think so. Yeah.
That was closer to the original than I would have liked.
Thank you. Oh yeah, of course. I've already made plans for Devil's Night, my new favorite holiday.
Why is it your new favorite holiday?
It's a line from T-Bird in The Crow.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that movie in ages.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Saturday is Halloween Eve, or Devil's Night, which is the night The Crow takes place. So,
okay.
And then on Sunday, Halloween, you can then watch The Crow 2, which isn't terrible. It's actually quite good in places. You can see Thomas Jane masturbating furiously. So, if you're looking for that in a movie, that movie has that. Definitely don't watch 3. And I think 3 has Edward Furlong and 4 has Angel, David Boreanaz.
They did more than 2?
Oh, yeah, they did a lot more. Then they did like a made-for-TV one where everything's fucking toned down and it's terrible. And The Crow's Stairway to Heaven, I think it's called.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Let's not think about these things then, and go on to the next and final project for this evening.
It's probably banging away on Darla.
Painted an entrance, Denzian.
Here's a quick impression for you. Caw, bang, fuck, I'm dead.
So he's working away on his ever-growing tunnel system.
He's in the chat, so you can tell him how you hate all the stuff he's done so far to date.
I hate all the stuff you do. Every little bit of it. I hate all of you. And I'm just doing this to tell this everybody and everywhere.
He even hates the fact that at one point you've got Darth Vader beating the shit out of a load of xenomorphs.
I personally
think that's my favorite. Top Dollar was amazing. It was another one of those show-stealing performances. But obviously we've seen an awful lot of Denzin stuff where he's been doing the 3D printing, but kind of going old school by breaking out the balsa wood, which I,
agree.
I have a very large amount of balsa wood and various balsa cutters and strippers and reamers and all sorts. I may never 3D print something, but I'll cut the shit out of balsa wood any day of the week.
As long as you don't start cutting your workmates.
They're all too far away from me, unfortunately. I can't reach them. Anytime I come at them with a knife, they lock themselves in Tom's office. It's terrible.
I have to say, I had a bit of a giggle when John said that all the FDM printers in store are currently not operational because they didn't pass along the list of required replacement parts, and I was just going to... That's one fucking email. Email whoever is responsible for acknowledging the cost, going, yay, these things make money. They don't make money because they're broken. We need these parts to replace them. Can we have them, please?
Well, to be fair, that email's probably going to Warren. Warren brought them all in so he could do stuff.
But is it still on Warren's terms to acknowledge these things?
Who knows? I certainly don't. depends.
Ma- Maybe that's the problem. John doesn't know who to send the mail to.
Well, the thing is, just because Warren got a load of 3D printers in the office and then sold to Wayland Games doesn't mean that Wayland Games are going to replace the 3D printer parts when they fucking burn out. Because I imagine they're looking at that going, why?
Somebody put chewing gum into the extruder. Why is there chewing gum in the extruder?
That type of thing. That type of thing. But up to the top, you see the massively, hugely lovely wall. The big fuck off South airlock stenciling on it. And it's a brave size and looks spectacular behind the board that's set up.
Yeah, and I think it will make a great backdrop when setting up for a bigger game.
The only question I now have is, does Denzian have the pilots?
Should he make a landing?
Specifically, I just wonder whether or not he's got Spunkmeyer. Best character in Aliens.
He has.
Yay! Awesome. I mean, theoretically, I think Spunkmeyer was only the co-pilot. I honestly can't remember the pilot's name because it's not Spunkmeyer. Crispin, help me out.
Pharaoh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That sounds right, doesn't it?
Peru?
Yeah, I think, yeah, certainly something like that.
I couldn't tell. So
Not
this is...
Not Spunkmeyer, though.
Yeah, but let's face it. If you name a side character Spunkmeyer, everybody will remember him.
That is 100% true. I am living proof.
Yeah. The actor was on SNL before she bit it. Okay. So, people, that's what Jerry has brought us.
Yep.
And for some lucky coincidence, I'm all out of beer.
Oh my god, no.
And at least on what is stashed in my little hobby room at the moment. So
Winnie.
I'll need to stitch together some video files with non-working Skype. Then I'll need to find out why Skype isn't working suddenly with OBS and beat the bloody shit out of it to get it back into submission. At some point that'll work again, I guess. And if not, I will shut down my camera as well, and next time we will only have our voices on the video.
Wow.
That would...
Then how would they know we're not dancing naked like Edward and Tubbs?
That's the beauty of it.
No,
they will
true.
not.
They won't.
And they will scratch out their eyes thinking we are doing it. We will doing the badger dance of...
helmet if I showed him my points.
Oh god, I don't know what's worse. The thing that I actually remember where that from, or why you're saying it right now.
You heard the man, Tubbs. Get undressed.
And with that terrible bombshell, I say thank you for everybody for being here, and I'm off. I think I need a cold shower or something. Bye.
Bye.